You're 18, wide-eyed and excited about college, pouring your heart out to your best friend, the one person who knows every scar, every dream, every vulnerable secret you've ever had. Then, in one cruel twist, she twists those secrets into vicious lies and spreads them like wildfire across campus. Your reputation? Shattered. Your trust? Obliterated. But what if I told you that betrayal was just the spark? Years later, when she came crawling back, I served up a revenge so cold, so perfectly executed, it left her regretting every word she ever whispered. Stick around, because this isn't just a story of heartbreak, it's a masterclass in sweet, satisfying justice. Hello everyone, my name is Emily. I'm 30 now, living in Seattle, and I work as a freelance writer and podcaster, sharing stories that hit close to home. Today, I want to open up about something deeply personal from my own life, a betrayal that changed me forever, but ultimately made me stronger. If you've ever felt the sting of someone you trusted turning on you, or if you're craving that rush of seeing karma in action, hit that like button right now, subscribe for more real-life tales of triumph over toxicity, and let's dive in. Trust me, by the end, you'll be cheering. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. I was 18, fresh out of high school, stepping onto the campus of my dream college in a small town in Oregon. Picture this. Crisp autumn leaves crunching under my sneakers, the smell of coffee from the student union wafting through the air, and that electric buzz of new beginnings. I felt invincible, like the world was finally opening up for me. But more than anything, I had Sarah, my best friend since middle school. We were inseparable. She was the kind of girl who could light up a room with her laugh, always quick with a joke or a shoulder to cry on. Her hair was this wild cascade of curls, and she had these piercing green eyes that seemed to see right through you. We shared everything. Late-night study sessions in our dorm, whispered confessions about crushes, even the heavy stuff, like my family's messy divorce and the anxiety attacks I'd been hiding from everyone else. Sarah knew me inside out. I trusted her with secrets I wouldn't even tell my own journal. Like the time I confided in her about my first real heartbreak, a guy from high school who cheated on me, leaving me feeling worthless and exposed. Or the deeper wounds. My mom's struggle with depression, how it made home feel like a battlefield, and how I'd sometimes lock myself in my room just to breathe. Sarah would hug me tight, say things like, "You're the strongest person I know. I've got your back, always." And I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We'd been through thick and thin, surviving awkward teen years, family dramas, you name it. She was my rock. But looking back, there were signs. Tiny cracks in the foundation that I ignored because, well, that's what you do when you love someone like a sister. Sarah had this edge to her, a competitiveness that simmered just below the surface. In high school, she'd always been the one getting the attention, top of the class, prom queen vibes. Me? I was the quiet achiever, good grades but more introverted, content in her shadow. In college, things started shifting. I joined a creative writing club and started getting praise from professors. My stories were being shared in class, and suddenly, people were noticing me. Sarah would smile and say, "That's awesome, Em," but her eyes would flicker, like a storm cloud passing over. I'd feel a twinge in my gut, but brush it off. "She's just stressed," I'd tell myself. Then came the day everything shattered. It was a Friday afternoon, right before midterms. I was in the library, buried in notes, when my phone buzzed with a text from a casual acquaintance. "Hey, is it true about your family?" That's rough. My heart skipped. "What?" I texted back, confused, but before I could process, more messages flooded in. Whispers in the halls turned to stares. By evening, it was everywhere. Rumors that I'd been unstable, that my mom's depression was actually a cover for something worse, addiction, they said. And the lies about me? Twisted versions of my confessions. That high school heartbreak? Now it was me who was the cheater, the manipulator. People said I'd faked anxiety for attention, that I was toxic and not to be trusted. My stomach churned as I pieced it together. Who else knew those details? Only Sarah. I confronted her that night in our dorm room. The air was thick, heavy with the scent of her vanilla candle, the one she always lit to calm the vibes. She was lounging on her bed, scrolling her phone, when I burst in, my hands trembling. "Sarah, what did you do?" My voice cracked, raw and desperate. She looked up, feigning innocence at first. "What are you talking about?" But as I laid it out, the rumors, the specifics only she knew, her face hardened. No apology. Instead, she snapped, "Maybe if you weren't so dramatic all the time, people wouldn't talk." My chest tightened, like a vice squeezing my ribs. Dramatic? These were my secrets, my pain, weaponized against me. Tears burned my eyes, but I held them back. Inside, my mind raced. How could she? After everything? I thought we were family. The fallout was brutal. Friends distanced themselves, not wanting to get caught in the drama. Professors gave me pitying looks. I couldn't walk to class without feeling eyes on me, whispers like daggers. My grades slipped as anxiety spiraled. Nights blurred into tear-soaked pillows, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. Powerlessness washed over me in waves. That gut-wrenching feeling of being exposed, vulnerable, like my soul had been stripped bare for the world to judge. And Sarah? She thrived on it. I saw her laughing with new friends, posting selfies from parties I wasn't invited to. It was like she'd stolen my life and worn it as a trophy. The betrayal cut deeper than any breakup. It wasn't just loss, it was violation. I felt small, disrespected, underestimated. Who does she think she is? I'd think, fists clenched under my blankets. She thinks she can break me and walk away? Weeks turned into months of isolation. I switched dorms, buried myself in books, but the anger festered. It wasn't just hurt, it was a fire, slow burning, fueling something new. One rainy night, alone in my new room with the patter of drops against the window, I hit my breaking point. Staring at my reflection in the mirror, puffy eyes, defeated posture, I whispered to myself, "Enough. She doesn't get to win." That was the turning point. Resolve hardened in my chest, a quiet determination replacing the tears. I wasn't going to confront her again, that would be too easy, too quick. No, I needed something that would make her feel the same sting, the humiliation, the regret. But how? I started small. I focused on rebuilding, joined therapy sessions on campus, learned to channel the pain into writing. My stories? They poured out, raw, emotional tales of betrayal and resilience. Professors noticed. One even submitted my work to a local literary contest. I won. The prize? A small scholarship and publication in the college magazine. People started talking, not about the rumors, but about my talent. Sarah? I heard through the grapevine she was jealous, dismissing it as luck. But I kept going. Graduated with honors, moved to Seattle for a job in publishing. Life moved on, but I never forgot. Fast forward a decade. I'm 28, thriving as a freelance writer. My articles on mental health and personal growth had gone viral, think millions of views on blogs and podcasts. I'd turned my pain into purpose, helping others feel less alone. One day, an email pings in, from Sarah. My breath caught as I read her name. She was reaching out, down on her luck, recently divorced, struggling with her own anxiety. She apologized vaguely. I was young and stupid back then. Miss our friendship. But then the ask. She wanted to collaborate on a project. See, she'd started a small blog, but it was floundering. She knew my platform could boost her. For old time's sake, she wrote. My pulse quickened, a mix of old hurt and new excitement. This was it. The opportunity I'd subconsciously waited for. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I dug. A quick social media scroll revealed more. Her life was a mess, failed relationships, job hops, echoes of the same toxicity she'd inflicted. Friends had ditched her after similar betrayals. Inside, my thoughts swirled. She thinks she can waltz back in? Use me again? No. I crafted a plan, simple yet devastating. I'd agree to meet, but on my terms. We met at a cozy cafe in Seattle, neutral ground. The aroma of fresh espresso filled the air, but tension crackled like static. Sarah looked older, worn, bags under her eyes, forced smile. She hugged me awkwardly. I stiffened, my skin crawling at the touch. You look amazing, she gushed. I've followed your success, so proud. Proud? My jaw clenched, but I played along, sipping my latte with steady hands. We chatted superficially, then she pitched. I have this idea for a joint podcast episode. About forgiveness and growth. It could go viral with your audience. That's when I struck. Leaning forward, voice calm but edged like a blade, I said, Sarah, before we talk business, let's address the past. Her face paled. I pulled out my phone, showing screenshots, old messages from college friends confirming she'd started the rumors, even admitting jealousy in one drunken text she'd sent years ago. I'd saved everything. You destroyed me, I said, my words measured, each one landing like a punch. Spread lies about my family, my heartbreaks. Made me question every friendship since. She stammered, I didn't mean. But I cut her off. You did. And now? You want my help? After all that? The cafe buzzed around us, oblivious, but her world crumbled. Tears welled in her eyes, she shifted uncomfortably, glancing at nearby tables as if afraid of being overheard. Please, I need this. Need? The word ignited that old fire. No, I replied, standing up. You taught me a lesson. Not everyone deserves a second chance. Good luck with your blog. I walked out, heart pounding with adrenaline, the cool air hitting my face like freedom. But that wasn't the end. Oh no. The real payoff came weeks later. Sarah, desperate, posted a vague apology on her socials, tagging me, trying to leverage my name for sympathy. Big mistake. My followers, loyal and protective after years of my honest storytelling, flooded her comments. Karma's real, one wrote. You don't get to hurt people and expect handouts. Her blog tanked, collaborations dried up. I heard through mutuals she was humiliated, ranting to anyone who'd listen about how unfair it was. Shocked? Angry? Absolutely. Her messages to me turned bitter. You're heartless. But I blocked her, feeling a rush of triumph wash over me. Relief flooded my veins, like shedding a weight I'd carried for years. Validation hit hard. I wasn't the broken girl anymore. I was the one in control, the architect of my own justice. It was euphoric, that moment of seeing her unravel, not out of cruelty, but because she'd earned every bit of it. The powerlessness flipped. Now she felt small, disrespected. And me? I slept soundly for the first time in ages, a smile tugging at my lips. Looking back, that betrayal was a brutal teacher. It showed me that trust is precious, and not everyone who smiles is a friend. But it also proved karma has a way of circling back, sometimes with a little help from us. Justice isn't always immediate, but when it's earned, it's oh so satisfying. If anything, it taught me to keep my circle small, value real connections, and never underestimate my own strength. What about you? Ever turned pain into power? Phew, that was intense, right? If this story fired you up or gave you that sweet revenge glow, smash that like button. Let's get it to 10,000. Drop in the comments. What's the most epic payback you've seen or done? Did someone betray you and regret it? Share your stories. I read every one. And if you want more real-life tales of triumph, betrayal, and everything in between, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. New videos drop every week. Thanks for watching. You're amazing. See you next time.